guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for tuning in. My name is Antoinette Oguma, impacting a change through technology and helping you have a well-balanced life with Christ at the center. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about living within your means. This is something that people do not understand, and I don't know, people go overboard, like they try to break the bank to live life. Okay, so without much ado, I know you're wondering who is this pretty lady by my side. She's going to be doing the talking today. Her name is Favour. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so yes, we're going to be talking about living within your means, and let's not waste time because of the length of this video. So in your own words, like, what do you think living within your means is?
So basically, I would say living within your means you spending within what comes to you in a month. For example, if you earn 500, you stay within the 500. Don't try to live like someone that is earning $1,000 in a month. So when what you spend is less than or equal to the amount that you earn in a month or weekly, daily, based on how much you earn.
Okay, so you talked about not spending overboard, like from what you earn. How are there other tips, or should I say ways, to live within your means? Because I would like to think that not spending overboard is one way. So are there other ways?
Yes, there are other tips that can help you, live within your means. For example, you planning a budget and sticking to it. Right? In a month, make sure you have a budget for the month and make sure you stick to it. Like things you're supposed to buy, things you need in a month, have a budget and make sure you stick to it, and then try to track your spending. If you don't track your spending, you find out that you spend more than you actually budgeted for. Personally, if I had like 1,000 pesos, because that is the currency we use here, 1,000 pesos, let me say, and I'm thinking about it today, like what did I actually use this 1,000 pesos to do? I would try to keep track of what I actually used it for. If I find out that I use it for useless things, I will try to call down and tell myself, hey, Favour, you need to trim down on spending, or things like that. And then you keep track of your spending. You can write down what you should use this money for and stuff like that. That is one way that can help you live within your means. Then the second one is saving. If you're earning like $500 in a month, or depending on how you earn, make sure you save a part of that money, like 10%, 5%. Just make sure you save a part of it. Don't use everything. And then there's something my spiritual father always says. He says that if you're earning $1,000, don't live like someone that is earning $1,000. Live like someone that is earning like $600, $700. Don't try to live in the same. That means you won't have any savings, because if you're earning 1,000, you're spending 1,000, you won't have any savings. So try to live below. What you actually earn. That will help you save and stay within your means. You won't have the fear of spending more than you actually bargained for. Then the third thing is investing. I believe we should find out ways that we can invest our money, businesses, like ways that you can invest money that will make money come back. It will help you earn more money, you have more savings, and then you can even increase your spending budget, and it will also help you stay within your means, like spend within your means.
Okay, there's another thing that just came to my head, and it's just something very minor, and which is like, have a shopping list. Like, it helps a lot. Like, I'm the kind of person that goes to the mall and I just want to buy everything in the mall because I have the money with me. But I discovered that when you have what you just want to pick, you end up just going to, especially if you know the mall, you end up just going there, picking what you want, and then you leave. But if you don't know, you just start walking around and then you are loitering like the early men that didn't have homes, and you just be loitering around the mall and you just want to pick everything you see. So I feel like that's one tip as well.
And to actually help you save time, because when you keep walking around, you waste your time.
And time is money.
I'm looking like in Nigeria. Okay, there's something that came to my mind now. People that borrow a lot. If you don't stay within your means, like you earn 500, you should spend less than 500 or spend 500. You find out that you end up borrowing to keep up the kind of life you're living. So first, try to pay up all your debts. If you're owing people, just try to pay them up. Like, just pay up all your debts. Personally, I used to have this. It's in my past though. It's no longer now. I used to do this, when I receive my allowance for the month, like let me use 1,000 pesos. I use the whole 1,000 in like 2 weeks, and then the whole money will finish. I will tend to, start asking my friends for money. Please, can you borrow me 1,000? I have to survive the remaining days of the month, and by the time I'm receiving my next allowance for the month, I have to remove 500 from that one and pay the person that I borrowed money from. And you see, if my allowance was 1,000, I remove 500. How am I supposed to survive with 500? So I end up borrowing more that month. So it's got to a point that as I was receiving allowance, I was using it to pay this one, and I'll borrow money to live the remaining days. Then I kept doing that until a great man of God a great man of God helped my life, and I paid up all the people I was owing, and now I actually save and I live within my means. So that is a tip: pay up all your debts and don't borrow. No matter what, don't borrow.
Yeah, and about this borrowing stuff, there's something I also heard, like it's been a long while. Like the borrower is always a servant to the lender.
Actually,
like really. Or I know that it's very, very real, because if you borrow money from somebody today, if you like, if you like be older than that person has the right to even, as those people have mouths to insult you just because you borrowed, and you might not even want big money, you might just want small money like that will not matter to you on a normal day, but just because you don't have it, you become a servant to the lender. So borrowing is off the book. Okay, so real talk is all about, this season is actually about, real life challenges and how to overcome them in a godly way. So one thing I want to ask right now is that the principle of tithing and offering, how does it work? Does it really have a part to play in living with Him? Because also, let me digress a little. I'd like to add financial stability to this video. We already talked about it, right? Okay, yeah. So yes. So she didn't really want to talk about it, but I'll tell you the truth.
I was first.
Yeah. So about it. So what does the principle of tithing and offering, does it work, and seed as well?
Before I answer this question, I want to mention something a man of God told me before. He gave an example. When you receive money and you give God a part of it, like it's like you telling God, hey God, this is the remaining part, to come and help me manage this, come and help me take care of it. So God is going to take over the remaining part of the money, like when after you've given Him your tithe or offering or seed or anything. But if you don't do that, if you don't give God a part of your money, the devil, the destroyer, the devil will bring so many things. Sicknesses will come, stuffs will come up that you have to use that money on them, and before you know, the money is gone. So the spiritual principle related to living within your means, tithing is one of them. You need to be a tither. Give God a part of your money, 10% of your money. You're telling God, come and help me spend the main part of this money. Come and take care of this money. So the devil won't really have much stake on it. Like all these sicknesses, things will just come up. Something will just spend in your house. Your wardrobe will break. Like things. Things that you need money. So yeah, tithing, giving seeds is personal. I believe it needs God speaking to you personally, to sow seed for this, for that. When I first faced some challenges, I prayed to God, and if I have a need in my spirit to give seeds for it, I give. If I have leading to sow a seed to receive like financial blessings, I go ahead and sow a seed. So sowing a seed is personal between you and God. Tithing is a spiritual, scriptural principle that every Christian, I believe, should abide. You mentioned offering, right? I believe anytime you go before God, anytime you appear in the presence of God, don't go empty-handed. Go with a gift, go with an offering that you want to bless God with. And if you are blessed by the sermon, by anything that day, why not? You should thank God for it. You should give an offering to God, like, hey, Baba, thank you.
Baba,
Yeah, so that's it.
Okay, so this is the main one now. Let me adjust. So there is this social media stuff that they've made people live like they feel like if you're not driving the latest Range Rover, you are not a human being. If you're not, if you're not in the latest house, you're not living in the latest estate, you're not living in the latest, if you don't have the standard things, it means you're not living life. What do you have to say about it?
Personally, actually, when you are saying this, what came to my mind, I wanted to tell you everything that happens on social media is a scam. Those people are not living true to themselves. They put false things out there, and tend to deceive people and make people try to walk up to meet those expectations. So
I need to address see this distance getting hotter. Let me just be ready.
okay. So people actually, some ladies most especially, they go to borrow shoes, borrow bags, makeup and all this, and then they take a picture and they post there, put it out there on social media. You're thinking, I should be like this person. You go and be spending all your money just to look like this person. That person that you're looking at is actually living a false life. So social media is the worst thing to look up to, in living life. Like when you're trying to look like this person, live like this person, you see someone driving this kind of car, you're like, oh, I must get this kind of car. No, it shouldn't be like that. If you see someone dressing like this, I must get this kind of dress. You don't know how much that person is earning, you don't know the kind of life that person is living, you don't know the kind of friends person has. So you, in the small amount you're earning, you're trying to live the standard of life that person is living. So I feel and I believe that social media is the wrongest place to look out to, like to look up to in living your life. And then, like my sister, like she always says, you don't have to. She mentioned something about ashebi. Like in Nigeria, there's this thing we call ashebi. Like when someone is having a wedding, you have to get a color. So
it's not only wedding nowadays that they're doing ashebi.
What else?
As in, I saw one that the girl said she's doing wedding anniversary, 2 years wedding anniversary.
And
there's no party, there's just ashebi. And ashebi is just like a uniform that people like friends and families will wear to be like, okay, we are part of the members of the family, we are friends, and like something like that. So people actually do this thing now that okay, it's my birthday, but everybody will be ashebi. It actually sells. It actually sells because for instance, they buy this material now. Maybe this material they buy these prints for maybe like 2,500, and then people will now go and then the person that is having the party can now sell it for like 3,500. That's already having a 1,000 gain. So that's how people make money from ashebi. So people have started turning that into business, and you that don't know, you now carry it and go and be helping somebody to make money.
She has an advice for you. When you're in that kind of situation, just ask them, what color of clothes is the ashebi? If it's blue, red, just go and wear your own blue, your red, anything you have, looking all glammed up.
So sorry to cut you short, but what you're trying to say now is it that if, for instance, now this friend of mine comes to sell an ashebi for me that is like 150,000, and I don't have the money, I should just ask her that, sorry, don't be offended, I will buy you a gift on your wedding, please. Because
I cannot come.
That's the way forward. I will buy you a gift on your wedding. No, I cannot come. That one is more offensive now. But just tell me the color of the day. Let me go and find my clothes. Is that wrong?
I don't think it's wrong, and I think the important thing there is the person your friend. If the person is your friend and you're explaining to the person that, see, I cannot buy this, the person should understand. The person should not be angry. So the important thing there is the person really your friend? As you explain to the person understanding that you don't have that money to spend for the ashebi. And if you don't have it, I don't think you should go and rob a bank because you want to wear ashebi. You're not going to borrow money and wear ashebi. Not be paying up debt for 1 year. You'll be paying up for one clothes that you wore just for 1 day.
And the funny thing is that most people don't even repeat ashebi.
Yeah, there's something that don't repeat it.
So people don't repeat it, and then they'll borrow money. I don't know why people don't just get it. They borrow money to buy this dress, and then after that 1 day they won't wear it again. It's quite painful though.
You actually must not go for if they say you have to wear ashebi, if not you should not come. Stay in your house.
There was actually one party I saw that the people, if you don't wear ashebi, caterers will treat you less. They can shout at you, say they can pass your head and give the next person food, and then maybe when food has reached everybody that watch ashebi, they will now come back to you. That's how some people take it. So just ask for the color of the day. You must not break the bank. You don't have to kill yourself. Live within your means is basically what we'll be trying to talk about today. Like really, it's really something that people really have to understand. So let me leave you to continue.
And then one thing about social media, like she mentioned earlier, is that people try to live up to standards. When you see things on social media, you think like that is what's up. So you in your own life, you now want to live up to standards that the world is putting out there for you. So you tend to go overboard, spend everything you have just to meet up to standards. And then people tend to spend a lot because they feel like they are not happy. So they tend to feel like they need to get that, to be happy. You can't buy happiness. You can just be happy on your own with the little you have. You don't need to, live like a very, even if you have the. And then another thing I found out is that people are not actually true to themselves. If you're true to yourself, sorry. Another thing I found out is that people are not true to themselves. They try to live a fake life. If you're living a fake life, you have to put in a lot to keep up with that fake life. If you're putting a false fact that you have this, you have that, you're using iPhone, you're using this car, like have all those, you have to put in a lot to keep up with. That means if, for example, when iPhone 7 came out, people that that are showing up that they have money and all those things, when they bought the phone, when iPhone X came out, they went to buy the phone because they're trying to keep up with their life. So you find out that, but those that are actually true to themselves, that they don't care what people say about them, they don't try to live a fake life, they are not moved by all those things, so they tend to live within their means more. So another thing is just try to live true to yourself, be true to yourself. So that's another thing.
I actually watched a movie and this girl, she used to trend on Instagram. You all know what Instagram is now. If I go and follow me on Instagram now, I'll put my hand there, go and follow me. Okay, so people
don't
actually
know what Instagram is.
Instagram is an app, a social
I'm
app.
joking.
Really? Okay, so yes. So this girl is on Instagram and she's very famous and people know her, people follow her. And the lifestyle she was actually living, it was a movie too, I don't know if I said that in the beginning. So the lifestyle she was actually living was that she used to go to boutiques and wear clothes, and then she will now take a picture with it. Actually, she will pick like 5 clothes and then she will try them in the dressing room, and then she will take pictures with them because it always has a particular background. So she will take those 5 pictures or 10 pictures and then she will post them like serially in different days. So you will now think that this girl, she's always changing house, or she's always changing dress. Meanwhile, when she's done, she will not buy anyone. She just can meet the sales girl and be like, actually, they all were too tight. The one that was actually perfect was actually showing my cleavage and stuff like that, and she will end up not buying anyone. And that was the lifestyle she was living. And I feel like that thing is not just a movie. I feel like it happens in real life. Actually. It's not just all about fiction sometimes.
Another thing that actually came to my mind as you are talking is students. See, don't get me wrong. There are some students that, like, I used the phone iPhone X before. There are some students that immediately the phone came out, they went to buy the phone. I'm not saying it's wrong to use the phone. If your parents gave you money to buy the phone, good. It's okay. I just feel as students that there are some things we shouldn't, there are some things we shouldn't be using as students. When you get to the time you're working and all, you're not the one earning the money. It's your parents that are earning the money. So when you get to the time when you're working, this is your money. It's your money you're spending. But as a student, just try to cut down on how you live your life. The things you buy, the things you spend money on. You don't need to use the most expensive phone like your classmates and everything just to showcase. As students, just try to cut down on your spending. You don't need to, live an expensive life. You can, even if you have the money, you can save it and use it for other things. And I found out that most of these students, their parents, the person even bring the money, does not even use that kind of food, but they are using it. So as a student, just try to live a moderate life. And then most of these students are trying to keep up with expectations of their friends, their classmates, and all those things, and they tend to go overboard to spend. So don't try to please anybody. Live the way you want to live. Do things the way you want to do it. Live, spend how much you want to spend, not because someone you feel like you're supposed to meet an expectation. And another thing is, you should have something I call an emergency fund as a person, something you've saved up over time. So if you're actually living within your means, you should have that. So when something comes up, something that is very important, it's not then you start running around for money. You already have money at every point in time as a person. So that is another tip.
Oh, so we're still on tips. She must have a lot to say. Okay, so actually when you were talking just now about the expectation stuff, something just came to my mind. I was like, really? Like that's basically one of the reasons why people actually don't live within their means. Like they've already, had these expectations of the society wants me to live like this. Society expects me to be driving a car at this age. So at this age, if I'm not earning enough to buy a car, meaning that I'm like less of a human, that kind of thing. I feel like that's what, as in societal pressure is putting people into not living within their means. Actually, I feel also family pressures too. Like your family is always calling you that no money, no money. So you want to know, and maybe for instance you've been in the city for so long and they've been calling you no money, no money. You know when you're going back home, you don't want to go home empty-handed. You want to go home looking like actually the city I've been in is paying. You want to carry shoulder and stuff like that. So I feel like all these pressures and stuffs make people not live within their means. That's just me trying to chip in the little that I know.
There was something I heard a few days ago. There are some people that actually, when you mention city and village, there are some people that spend the whole year like earning money in the city. They now go during Christmas, like all these holiday periods, to their villages and spend everything, just to
blow it up.
Just like showcase and everything, just so that they have money. You don't need to show anybody anything. You don't need to live up to any expectation or any standard. Make your own principles, make your own standards, and live up to them, not what any other person created.
Wow, I told you this is a wealth of information sitting right here. She's just trying to be humble. She doesn't want to blow her own horn. I understand.
She's not saying the truth.
Okay, so about this living within your means thing now, is there anything you also want to use to cement it now? Sometimes there's some people that when they talk, they'll now drop one tiny bomb and then they'll just end like that. So do you want to drop one for us?
Okay. To round up everything, I would say make sure you get God involved in your financial life. Like God should be like at the center of it all and everything, and then have your own principles, stick to your own principles, not to any other person's principles, and live below your level, live below the amount you earn in a month.
You don't need it. Like if you're comfortable in your own room, stay there. You don't really have to live the life that everybody expects you to be living at this age. You don't really have to live a life that is not convenient for you. Most times some people that actually travel or live their best life in quote and unquote. Like they want to show everybody that because the society has placed it that living your best life is flying from one country to another, always posting flick pictures on Instagram, with glam makeup every day. Your shoe is the one that is raining, your belt nobody can compare and stuff like that. But I feel like that's not how it's meant to be. Do more of what makes you happy. It could just be reading a book that makes you happy. It could just be writing that makes you happy. Do more of what makes you happy. Don't live life because people have said that this is how life is meant to be. You have your own life and God owns your life, obviously, but you have your life. So set your standards for yourself like she has said. Okay, so I'd like to ask now, do you have any other thing to say now, the final time bomb?
As you are talking, actually, I don't know that is a final time motion.
That's right.
I just remember something, a video she just released. Like, she used to just drop videos here and there. The one on self-esteem, like, so if you've not watched it, please go and watch it. If you have someone that you want to help, you can share to the person.
I will put the iCard notification somewhere here.
My head?
There. It's somewhere around there. So that's how I put it. So you can click away and come back.
So as she was talking about, not trying to live up to expectations and everything, I just remember stuff that she mentioned in the video. Because if you find out at the basis of all these things, people that actually have a low self-esteem, trying to live up to expectations, trying to do things that will make them feel good about themselves, that will make them feel accepted in society. So they tend to go overboard, like spend a lot, buy the rainy, like she mentioned, the rainy shoes, rainy cars, rainy things, rainy phones, try to feel good about themselves, trying to be accepted in the society because they actually feel less of themselves. So what I want to tell you is that you're okay doing and you're the best. When I say God's masterpiece, like two things cannot be the same. He made you and he has called you beautiful. You're beautiful the way you are. You don't need to add all those things to be accepted in society. God has already accepted you. You just need to accept yourself so you can be accepted in society, not the other way around. The society does not need to accept you for you to accept yourself. So accept yourself, live within your means, accept yourself, be you, do you, like a man of God said, do things the way you want to do, not because society has said you should do it that way, and live within your means. All these things will actually help you. You will save more and live a very, very beautiful life.
And you even be happy.
Because if you find that all those people that actually try to get the raining shoes, raining cars and everything, they're always on their toes, like, hey, which phone just came out now? Like, they're always on the go, like trying to do things. They're not settled, they're not happy because they're trying to please others, people that don't even know that they exist. So just try to do your own thing. Be calm where you are. I'll just say something just dropped on my mind. I knew you were going to say something. Something just came to my mind now. If you something about living with your means, like is you also have to have faith. Like you have to trust God. If you plan to use $500 that you earn this month, and somehow you don't know the money finished. Don't try to start borrowing money. Just trust God, pray to God, ask Him. It has happened to me before personally. Like I didn't have money and I promised myself that no, that I'm not going to borrow money again. So I just stayed in my room, I prayed, and I was really hungry that day. And I was asking God, I'm going to go and borrow money because I don't understand all these things, all this no borrowing, and I'm going hungry. And then it wasn't immediately though, but then that same day, that evening, someone just called me like, am I hungry? People just gave me food. And then the next day, someone just said that he wants to sow a seed. And he just gave me money. And that was the first time that someone ever sowed. So I was like, who am I? I'm not even a woman of God. I saw him sowing seeds. I was like, that was just God. So another thing is just trust God. Have faith in God that He will supply all your needs. Trust Him. Don't try to take care of things on your own. Trust that He will take care of things for you.
Okay, so with that, we've kind of come to the end of this video. Let me adjust, and talk the little that I want to say. So what I want to say is this. Number one, looking good is good business, I know. But dear young lady, you don't have to break the bank. You don't have to borrow money to buy hair. You don't have to borrow money to buy that latest eyeshadow palette. Really, if you cannot afford it, don't go for it. Every designer is a designer. If you want to buy a bag, it doesn't matter how ugly it is. It was designed by someone, like the woman of God said. So it is a designer. You don't really have to tear your pockets to buy a bag. Some people don't even have pocket. They want to tear in the face, so they not start tearing other people's own and borrowing money. As in, have you ever borrowed? Like some people will go and borrow money for somebody that does not have. So when the person is not drawing them for the money, they will not be like, but you gave me time. Now the person does not have to, so they need their money. I know I'm digressing a little, but yeah, some people's hair itself is like a plot of land. The money for that hair is like a plot of land. If some people, they cannot call out the money, like they cannot call out the amount of their hair or their shoe in public because they know that everybody's going to be like, wow. Okay, so
most of them have actually not paid for the hair. That is the funny thing.
Some people used to carry hair that is half paid down payment. Really, see, is your hair a phone or is it a gadget? If you are buying a gadget for down payment now, I can understand, like to some extent. Okay, so with that, we've come to the end of this video. Make sure you live within your means and help someone you know to live within their means as well. You don't have to break the bank to live life that social media has set or the society or family has set. You own your life. God owns it, obviously, like I said. So I'll see you in my next video. Stay tuned and stay glued for the next one. Bye.